Welcome back to my channel Lomzy Sews. In today's sewing tutorial, I will share with you guys how to cut and sew a corset with v-neck. I've gotten a lot of requests on I should make a tutorial on how to cut and sew corset with v-neck, so I had to make out my time to make sure I make this detailed for everyone to understand. If that's what you're searching for, then make sure not to skip any part of this video, because if you do, I'm sure you're going to miss one or two sewing tips and tricks. If this is your first time coming across my channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on all notification bell icon. To my returning subscribers, thank you guys for your support, like and sharing my video out. And let's start with the sewing tutorial. Sewing supplies that you will need for this: you will need your main fabric. I have here Duchess fabric. You can use satin, you can use crepe, you can use Ankara fabric to do this anyways. And then you need a chantilly lace. The one you will need, the type of chantilly lace you will need should have scallops. And then you need a lining piece. You also need an interfacing for this. I'm using hairstay. You can use hairstay for your lining piece and your main fabric, but for me, I'm going to be using this paper gum stay, the fusible gum stay, paper gum stay for this. You also need hemming gum. You will need ribbon for your boning channels and also your boning. I'm using Ridgeline boning. You can use plastic, you can use the spiral boning type. And also for my closure at the back closure, I'm going to be using zipper. You can use eyelet for your back closure. You can decide to do lacing for it, so you will need eyelet for that, but for me, I'm using zipper for mine. For your patterns, before you go ahead to cut your patterns, make sure you true your patterns, especially when you're cutting corset and bustiers. I like to true my patterns before I go ahead to cut it, so I don't struggle on my sewing machine. To draft this 3-part corset with v-neck, I'm going to be using the 3-part corset I made the last time. If you have not watched that video, you need to watch the video. The only difference I'm going to make is on the bodice. The corsets, the cuffed corset is still the same thing, and the sleeve is still the same thing. The only difference I'm going to make is on the bodice and on the yoke of the corset. If you have not been following my corset tutorials, you need to do that, because you will learn one or two, especially when you want to go into bridals. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to make this a v-neck. For me to do that, I'm going to fold. I've already added my sewing allowances, as you can see, the sewing allowances. So I'm going to fold this. I have 1/2 inch sewing allowance here. I'm going to fold this in like this, and this is supposed to go into this place like this. Can you see? So from here, I'm going to make a v-neck to join to the yoke. So to do that, you will decide how deep you want your v-neck to be, however deep you want the v-neck to be. For me, I'm going to make mine 3 inches. So from the beginning of the bust separation, I'm going to take down 3 inches here like this, and I'm going to connect this to this, not the sewing allowance. I'm going to connect it to this place. I don't know if you're seeing the sewing allowance. This is the sewing allowance. So I'm going to connect this to the sewing allowance here. I'll go ahead and connect it like this. So this V that you're seeing, I'm going to join this to this, but you're not going to cut out this side. So this little piece is very, very important. It's a very, very vital part of the patterns. So this is it like this. As you can see, if I place it here, this is the same thing here. So I'm going to take this and join it to this side for me to increase the deep V-neck. So I'll go ahead and trace this out like this and add sewing allowance to this place. So this is it after extending the v-neck side of the yoke. I'll go ahead and cut this out. Guys, this is the v-neck that we extended. Make sure you don't throw away this, because it's very, very important. I'll show you how. So now these are our new pattern pieces, as you can see. Guys, remember this is inclusive, so you note that. Very, very important. And also, if you can notice, I didn't cut this out from the the pattern. I didn't cut it out for the main fabric. I just added this to the yoke. I just added the V to the yoke. From here I added it to the yoke, can you see? And then I added sewing allowance all around. If you can see, I hope you can understand what I am doing. So I'll go ahead and use this pattern and cut out on my main fabric and my lining piece. I'll show you how to sew it. This is it after cutting it out on my fabric, and later when I'm about to sew the yoke, we'll cut this out on a mesh fabric. So I have gone ahead, before cutting this, I like to fuse my main fabrics before I ever cut them. So that's what I did before I cut it out. So first I'm going to sew the cups. For me to sew that, I'll set this aside and we're going to sew the cups first. So I go ahead and place this like this, and I'm going to sew this and also use this to join it. So this is it after sewing it. As you can see, the next thing I will do is to place this, the upper side of the corset, and place it like this, and I'm going to sew it. This is it after sewing it, as you can see, and I went ahead to top stitch the upper side, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do now is for me to cut the cups. Here are the pattern I'll be using for the bra foam. My main pattern has sewing allowance, and the one I'm going to use for the bra foam doesn't have any allowance all around, as you can see. So I'll just go ahead and use it to cut out on my bra foam. I'll go ahead and join it the same way I've joined this. If you have been watching my videos, you know how I join my bra cups. This is it after sewing it, as you can see. Just sew it a little bit. Place this here like this, and you're going to use your hemming gum, place it and iron it on it. So you're going to just use your hemming gum, place it around, just place it around, and you place your cups on it and you iron it. I've done this severally on my channel. So I'll go ahead and place this on top of it like this, align it properly, and I'm going to iron it down on it. So this is it after ironing it. As you can see, you can easily add it to your dress now, as you can see. Next, we are going to cover this with our chantilly lace. So you're to place this on top of this like this, and you're going to iron it on it. So there are two things you can use. You can either use your hemming gum to do this, or you can use this gum to do it. All you need to do is, if you're using this, you're going to do the same thing I did to the bra cups. If you're using this, you just spread this on it. You're going to place it on it, and you put this on top of it and iron it.
So many times that I miss you. I know how to call when I want to. Now you got way bigger issues.
So the bra cups are ready, as you can see. The next thing we have to do is to set this aside, and we are going to work on this. Next is to make the boning channels. So you're going to decide how you want your boning channels to be. You can decide to place your boning channels directly on your fabric and make your bonings. So if you're making it, you mark out the lines that you're going to use for your boning channels. If you want it like this, you can decide to do the same thing and make it the same on the other side. For me, I'm going to place my chantilly lace on the fabric, and then after laminating it on the fabric, then before I'll go ahead and put the ribbon. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. I fold it and then place the fabric on it and cut it out. I'll use it to cover it before I start adding the boning channels. So first I'm going to laminate the fabric. You can see that I've added hemming gum all around at the sewing allowances. So I'm going to align them properly make sure that they are equal at all sides, and then you're going to iron it. If you have watched this video till this time, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and like and share. And if you have not subscribed, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Subscription is free, so just go ahead and subscribe and turn on all notification bells so that you'll be able to be notified anytime I upload a new video. To my returning subscribers, thank you guys for your support and likes. Don't forget to share this video out to your sewing community, both on Facebook and wherever. So after laminating it, I'll go ahead and place my ribbon on it like this and make a boning channel. Guys, this boning channel is a false boning channels for me, so I'll just go ahead and place the boning channels like that and sew it down. So this is it after sewing it, as you can see, and I have also sewn the lining. As you can see, I went ahead to put boning on the lining. I didn't, this is just for fancy. So for me, this is for fancy, so you can go ahead and use your boning channels on this, but I just want mine to be on my lining piece. Now guys, this is the time for us to sew the v-neck. Now we're going to bring our little pattern, and that's what you're going to use and place on this to draw the v-neck. Can you see what I have drawn? So this is the v-neck. I'll place this like this on this. You go ahead and place it like this, and first of all sew the v. After sewing the v, then you go ahead and sew the other side. Make sure all your notches are aligned, as you can see. So you go ahead and sew this. After sewing it, you turn it over and understitch it. So I'll go and do that and come back to you. After sewing it, I went ahead and hemmed the lower part, as you can see. You go ahead and turn it out and bring it out from the side. So the next thing for us to do now is to add the yoke to it. I've cut out the yoke on a mesh fabric. The next thing, make sure your notches are, you've cut out your notches. The next thing I'm going to do is to place the lace, the chantilly lace on the neckline like this. Remember, this is a style line, so you're going to decide how you want the chantilly lace to be, however you want it to be. My chantilly lace is not much, so I'm trying to just manage it. So what you're going to do is, whatever you cut out, you're going to make sure you replicate that for the other side, unless for your style line you just want it to be on one side. So I'm going to place this on my scallop, aligning them properly and making sure they are the same thing, and I'll go ahead and cut that out so that my design is identical. You guys can already tell that the design yoke I'm trying to form is like a Queen Anne neckline. That's the illusion we're trying to replicate. So I'm going to place this like this, trying to imitate Queen Anne's neckline, and I'm going to also place it on the other side. So make sure they align properly. You can see it's already looking like a Queen Anne's neckline. By the time, because this is an illusion mesh, when you wear it, it will look like a Queen Anne's neckline, but actually there is an illusion net there. I hope you guys understand. So guys, throughout this video, you notice we have been laminating one thing or the other. That is why it's a couture design. So after I'm done laminating this is how it's looking. I'll go ahead and introduce this to my corset. So I'm going to place this on top of it like this. Guys, I've done this video before, this type of how to sew illusion neckline to a deep V neckline with yoke, but I think I decided to do another one to make it detailed. So you're going to place this on your corset like this, and you're going to align it and pin it down. Make sure you align it properly. You're going to pin it down, because you will either use hemming gum to hold it, or you you can tack it, you can do anything to it, and you can decide also you want the illusion net to be inside, not on top. But because it's going to have an embellishment, that's why I'm placing it on top like this. By the time I put on my embellishment, it will hide whatever I've added there. So you go ahead and do the same thing that I'm doing. So this is it after I was done. What I did was, first of all, I used hemming gum to hold it down, and then I had to stitch it down. Hemming it down is actually very stressful, so don't think it's very easy. So after hemming it, I went ahead and top stitched it at the tip. So see how the inside is looking. Next is to sew the back. So the back, I have a full tutorial on how I made this. This is going to have a zip and also is going to have lacing. Can you see? So I'm going to drop full tutorial on how to cut and sew corset back with loops and zip. I'll do a tutorial for that and I'll drop it in the description section. So this is the back we have. The next thing I'm going to do now is to join the shoulders. So I will bring my front panel and I'm going to place it on the shoulder like this, and I'm going to sandwich it with the back shoulder like this as shown, and then I'm going to sew away the 1/2 inch that I added as my sewing allowance. This is it after joining the shoulders. As you can see, the next thing I'm going to do is to align the side seam like this. You can decide to add your sleeve before this, but I'm going to go ahead and sew the side seam. After sewing it, I'll add the sleeve, and this is how it's looking. I'll go ahead and embellish the neckline. Remember I told you you need to embellish the neckline. And guys, we have come to the end of today's sewing tutorial. I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and like if you have not given this video a thumbs up, and I'll show you guys the outcome.